सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः. Before that it was mentioned, Sve Sve Karmani Abhiratah Samsiddhim Labhate Naraha. 43 or 40, 45 only. It's mentioned just before. Sve Sve Karmani Abhiratah. Sve Sve Karmani Abhiratah means being engaged in one's action, Swadharma, Swakarma, without swaying. That's why it says Sve Sve Karmani Abhiratah. Without swaying, one is engaged in what one has to do, because you can't sit quietly, you have to do something. And there are some God-given talents, certain God-given talents are there, and then you have to, based on those talents and based on what comes easily, you have to make a living, you have to do some work, you can't sit idly, so may as well do whatever it is that has come your way, may as well do whatever it is that is you are good at, may as well do whatever it is you don't think you are good at, but you are placed in that situation. May as well do whatever, wherever you are placed, even though you hate every minute of it. Because the problem is not that you are mismatched with your action, with your job. The problem is the mind is mismatched. The mind has to have a revolution. The antahkarana and the ego has to be convinced that I am towards moksha. I don't want anything other than moksha. So the work I do in my life, my swadharma, is for what? Not to gain name, not to gain fame, not to gain followers, not to gain any other kind of accolades. My swadharma is for my own self-growth. And this is what is told in this beautiful verse, which sums up the entire teaching of the whole Gita. In the first line there is the vision. In the second line there is the way of life. There are a few verses like this in the Bhagavad Gita. The 29th verse of the 7th chapter is also like that. You can look at that, and then that also has the same kind of combination with the vision and the way of life given in one single verse. Such verses are seen as Shubha, very auspicious. Rarely do they come across. And so, in this verse, what is there? In this verse it is said, the first line is unfolding Bhagavan, Ishvara. And what is the first line? Yataha pravrittihi bhutanam. Yataha, yasmat karanat, from whom, from which causeless cause. Pravrittihi, the production of all the bhutas, all the beings, who is responsible as Jagat Karanam for the creation of the 5 elements and the elementals. All the bodies, mind, sense complexes come from whom? And by whom, by which Chaitanya, this whole entire universe is pervaded. So, yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam. And so, this is the vision. This is the vision of no division, that this whole universe is nothing but Ishvara. This is what I have to discover. How do I discover? Indirectly through Karma Yoga, and that Karma Yoga is described in the way of life is described in the second line. Swakarmana tam abhyarchya. Worshipping this Bhagavan with my own karma. So when you do Archana in the temple, one flower, one name. You do that. Om Shivaya Namaha, Om Maheshwaraya Namaha, one flower. Here, instead of the flower, each flower is what? My job well done. My well done job is the offering, is the very puja. There is no other puja that is needed, or if this puja is done well. So that means what? I have to stop hating where I have been placed in my life. I have to stop hating my antecedents. I have to stop hating my background. I have to make peace with whatever it is that I have to do. I have to learn to love what is it that I have to do. And so that is where the self-growth is. The resistance melts away. Swakarmana tam abhyarchya. And also I cannot be a dirgha sutri. What is dirgha sutri? We saw that yesterday. Procrastinator. Big time procrastinator. Today's job I will do in my next birth. Yeah, tomorrow is too quick. Yeah, in my next birth I will do what I am supposed to do today. So this way, that procrastination and all doesn't give the effect of the work being offered as puja. So if the work is offered as puja, it has to be fresh, it has to be offered cheerfully, it has to be offered right then, right there. And so, without rancor, without grudges, without resentment, because I have to keep reminding myself, no matter how much I hate this, this is not trying to keep me down. I am wanting moksha, I am preparing myself for moksha. A question can arise, what if I am deluding myself? What if the job is oppressive? What if a relationship is abusive, oppressive? So staying in this abusive relationship, working on this abusive job, am I not becoming a doormat and instead of growing, lending myself for exploitation? That is where we have to pray for viveka. We have to be able to we have to cultivate the ability to distinguish between garden variety annoyances, disturbances, and outright abuse and exploitation, whether it's in the relationship or whether it's in the workforce. We have to distinguish between the two. And if it is truly an exploitative or terrible situation, nobody says you have to, even Bhagavan will say, get out of there. Why are you here? It's healthy to get out of there. But our problem is what? We don't have this proper healthy thinking. Either we go all way, one way, or the other way. It is this extremist thinking, and that is what has to be brought in the middle. We pray for viveka, we pray for the thing to change, and if truly I am not able to do this after trying, not like, okay, I have stayed one day in the job and I find it intolerable. No. After staying there for some time and seeing that nothing else is changing, seeing that I am also stagnating, I am not growing as a result, then we know it is time to make a move. That move is not considered done out of a whimsy of raga and dvesha. So that move is excluded from this discussion. Here is a foolproof discussion, for foolproof teaching on how to grow doing what one has to do. It is just a very, very nice thing. And then having wrapped up the Karma Yoga section, Bhagavan goes to Jnana. The Jnana section is also very beautiful. And to sum it up, first is the first, it will come in 51, 52, 53. Buddhya vishuddhaya yuktah dhrityatmanah niyamya cha shabdadin vishayan tyaktva ragadveshau vyudasya cha vivikta sevi laghvashi yatavakkaya manasah dhyana yoga parah nityam vairagyam samupashritah ahankara balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuchya nirmama shantah brahma bhuyaya kalpate. This is both the sadhana for jnana yoga how to get this knowledge. This is not only a practice for that, this is also the culmination of Karma Yoga. What one has accomplished, what does Antahkarana Shuddhi look like? So the mind is clear, Vishuddhaha, and it has a firm resolve, Dhrityatmanaha. The person is of firm resolve, and then the person has come out of Ragadvesha. The person is Vivikta Sevi. Vivikta Sevi means looks for Vijana Pradesha. Doesn't always go where there are people. Looks for solitary places. Laghvashi. Laghu Ashanam Yasya. The one who eats not all the time and not too much. So, eats as much as is needed. Laghvashi is pleased with small meals. And Yatabhakkaya Manasaha, straightforwardness. Dhyana Yoga Paraha is able to sit in meditation, and then one who has taken recourse to Vairagya, and where Ahankara, all these things are under check. And then that person is Brahma Bhutaha, means as good as Brahman. All that is needed is the teaching. And Brahma Bhutaha, Prasannatma, cheerful. And then Nashochati Nakangshati. And then it does not keep expecting things, does not keep longing for things, does not feel regret about not having anything. Samaha sarva bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. And so this person is totally connected to the Vedanta Shastra, and then sees Sarvatma in everything, sees oneself in everything, as everybody, and then has gains this vision of oneness. And likewise, through what? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, all three are discussed in this section. And so this section concludes in 58 by saying, Machchitta sarva durgani matprasadat tarishyasi. With my grace, all the difficulties and obstacles you will overcome. So, atha chetvam ahankaran nashrosyasi vinanksyasi. If because of your ahankara, you are not listening to what I say. What is Krishna saying? Don't say, oh, don't expect me to summarize all this. No. What has Krishna been saying from chapter 2 onwards to Arjuna? So if you don't listen to this Upadesha, which says what? Get up, go fight. Vinanksyasi. You are inviting destruction on yourself. After all this, after hearing all this, after seeing, and I have given you a special customized lecture on what? Swadharma, Swakarma. And still you are hesitating, still you are not going to do this. Suit yourself. He's going to say suit yourself later, but then right now he says, you will destroy yourself. Yad ahankaram ashritya na yotsye iti manyase mithyaisha vyavasayahate prakritistvam niyokshasi. So, because of ahankara, if you make the decision, I will not fight. I have been steadfast from chapter 1, I am not going to fight. Sorry if your chapters got wasted. Here, have a glass of juice, your throat must be parched from all this teaching. But I am not going to fight. I am not going to fight at all. And so, if that is your resolve, then mithya esha vyavahara. Your decision is what? False. Mrisha. Mithya. Your decision is as good as not a decision. And then, not only that, this prarabdha, there are two things operating. One is what? Your own swadharma. What are you? Warrior. So your own swadharma of being a warrior is there, and then your swakarma means according to prarabdha, you are supposed to do a few things in life. And this war is part of your duty, part of your prarabdha. if you avoid this war, it will come in a different way, and your own disposition will make you fight, and the next time the war comes around, you may not be so lucky. Maybe you are on the wrong side of dharma. Who knows what may happen? Maybe it won't be a dharmic war. Maybe you will be on the wrong side of dharma. And so, but your svabhava will impel you to fight. And so, better take the opportunity that is there at hand, because this opportunity will not keep coming in order where you can complete your duties. So, and the same thing is said also in the 60th verse also. And then 61st verse is choose one verse from the whole Bhagavad Gita. What would you choose? And Swamiji thought about it with eyes closed for so long that we thought the answer is not going to come at all, that he decided not to answer. Then he quoted this verse. He said every verse in the Bhagavad Gita is to be written in gold letters. Every verse is important, but since you are asking me to pick and choose one, internalize the meaning of this verse. This verse is therefore very important. Even otherwise it's important, but it has a a close resonance to us, because it was the parting gift of the Guru, the parting gift of the Guru to humanity. Very beautiful verse. And so yantrarudhani mayaya, because of the maya shakti, like the magic, because of the magic power called maya shakti, like the horses mounted on a moving platform, everything seems to move in order. And then therefore what? Surrender to that intelligence, surrender to that Ishvara in the form of whose essential nature is Satchidananda. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam shashvatam. Because of the prasada of this sharanagati, you will gain this knowledge and you will have eternal peace. And then he said, and then finally in verse number 66 he says, itite jnatam, this jnanam Brahma Vidya has been given to you in full, totally, without anything, asheshataha vyakhyatam. And what kind of jnanam? Guhyat guhyataram maya te jnanam akhyatam. By me unto you, this most sacred knowledge, the most secretive knowledge has all been given. Vimrishya. Please take note of this. Discriminate. Vimrishya. Etat. Vimrishya etat. And then you do this viveka, discriminate what I have said. What is it you discriminate? How to discriminate? Asheshena. Thoroughly discriminate, thoroughly use your viveka to see how this knowledge applies to you. And then what? Here is a free ticket. What is the free ticket? Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. As you wish you do, I will take whatever your decision is. Very beautiful. It's not said in the parental scolding tone. You never listen to me. Do whatever you want now. No. It is said with Bhagavan's dispassion. No micromanagement, no anger, no nothing. Just factual. No difficulty at all. And then this is how yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. As you need, you do that. And then a few more teachings are given. And then the same verse which came at the end of chapter 9 and at the end of chapter 10 is also coming here with a little bit of a twist, which shows us how important it is. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mameva eshyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Pratijane priyosime, here this verse comes in the form of a promise. Make your life Ishvara-centric. This is the whole purport of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the starting point and the middle point and the ending point also. Make your life Ishvara-centric. And by what? By using this as an altar of internal, emotional and mental maturity, internal growth, mental growth, emotional growth. Use this as an altar of growth. And when you use this as an altar of growth, all the disappointments, pains and sorrow, I will absorb. In any yoga, it's a difficult role. You can acknowledge that. Bringing up children, difficult. And what is that, being in a marriage, difficult. Because you have to adjust to one more ahankara. You can barely adjust to your own ahankara. And in an Indian marriage, you are not just marrying the person, you are marrying the entire village of the extended family. So, you have to adjust to so many people. Both the man and the women have to do. It's not only that the women has to do. Man also has to adjust, woman also has to adjust. And so, this is the situation. This is what is the understanding. The truth of this whole teaching is that lead a God-centric life. And Ishvara-centric life is safe because actually your life is already Ishvara-centric. Why? Because you are the center. You are the Ishvara, you are the center that you seek. So therefore, if you make your life Ishvara-centric, the travails and troubles of the role are confined to the role. Confined to the role. They don't spill over to the person because the person is given over to Bhagavan. The person is just nothing other than devotee. So that devotee identity, you replace all other identities. I am a man, I am a woman, I am disseminated to a lot of people. So I am very happy when the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita happens. I am very happy. And then when am I also happy? When somebody is studying the Bhagavad Gita, when there are students of the Bhagavad Gita also, I am very happy because again these words which are so sacred are being assimilated. And then and says what? Says that okay, now this kind of a dialogue that makes the hair stand on end, that causes horripilations, and then this we have been very fortunate to hear. We means he and Dhritarashtra, but actually we can say we also, all of us are very fortunate to hear. And then he says, I keep rejoicing. I keep rejoicing again and again, listening to this wonderful dialogue, and which has come to an end, which is coming to an end. But what will never come to an end is what I carry in my heart. Its purport I carry in my heart, O King Dhritarashtra. I will never forget this, and I am transformed by this, not just Arjuna. And then one more thing I want to say before we do the last verse. Let's go to that place. Sarva Dharman Parityajya, 66. Yeah. So, Ma Shuchaha. Ma Shuchaha means do not grieve. This is considered to be the last teaching verse of the Bhagavad Gita because open to chapter 2, verse number 11. What does it say? Ashocyan anvashochastvam. You are grieving over that which must not be grieved. The topic that was started there is now concluded with Ma Ashuchaha. Do not grieve. There also do not grieve. Here also do not grieve. That do not grieve was the Upodghata, the beginning, the pratigya, the Mahapratigya, the thesis statement of the teaching that was to unfold. And this do not grieve is what? Upasamhara. What is Upasamhara? Conclusion, the ending, Mangalam. And so, with that the Bhagavad Gita ends, and Sanjaya ends it very, very beautifully. The last verse says, Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishnah Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutihi Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. Wherever there is a teacher like the master of Karma Yoga. Who is that? Bhagavan Krishna. Where Bhagavan Krishna like teacher is there, and where a student like Arjuna, humble and ready to learn and present, where that person is there and as a student, and Bhagavan himself is the teacher, then three things are there for sure. What are they? Read and tell. Yeah, Tatra Shrihi. Read in the order. Shrihi means what? Shrihi, Lakshmi. Lakshmi is not just money. Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance. When you understand that you need to focus more on your studies and feel a greater need for silence, I don't know how to communicate this without making them feel rejected. Wonderful question. Very nice question. Yeah. This is something all of you will face. Yeah, ours. I have been blessed with something here and how to extend that for myself. And they say, we haven't seen you for 3 whole months. They follow you like a puppy. Wherever you go, there they are. Mary had a little lamb. The lamb was sure to go. Yeah. If they follow you to school, Gurukula, different thing. Yeah, but that won't happen. They will just follow everywhere. Wherever you go, they will follow you. And that annoying person who is not leaving me alone, that person is me. Annoyed, that means. And then, if you don't antagonize them, and if you are silent and let them talk, after a while they will also run out of things to say. What else is there to talk? They will also feel like that. And they will start respecting you. And then if you say, I'm going to spend the whole morning or afternoon, evening, whatever you want to say, with you, I would like to have 1 hour to myself. Is that okay? You can tell them. You're not asking their permission. You're inviting them on board. You're making them of them, and then without being controversial, you can see if you can meditate on the words in and through the noises, in and through the activities. See if you can keep your center, and if it is difficult, you can say, after a while you can say, look, I need a little bit of space. This is how much time we'll spend together. Have a pact with them right at the start. This is what I will do for myself. Nothing wrong. Very beautiful question. Difference between Chit and Jnana Shakti. Chit means what? Chit is Sat Chit Ananda, sentience. Jnana Shakti is the ability to know. That ability to know is because of Chit, but Jnana Shakti is nothing but Chit. Chit is not Jnana Shakti. Then, next one. What do we know about Sanjaya? He is the only other person who gets the Vishwarupa without having to really even fight a war or anybody. Not even Yudhishthira or the other Pandavas did not get. Yeah, that shows he was a very dharmic person. Non-controversial person. That's why he chose not to fight and became the TV for Yudhishthira. He became the narrator. That's why. Dhritarashtra, not Yudhishthira. Yeah. Shuddha Dharma need an explanation. Shuddha Dharma is, where did you hear this? Where did you hear this expression, Shuddha Dharma? Mundakopanishad, yeah. So, Shuddha Dharma means that which is uncontaminated by adharma. That is what it is, Shuddha Dharma. And describing the Jnani, probably it is being used. Then, do you have the verse where it comes? No? Does anybody have the Mundaka book? No. Sarva Dharma, I told very clearly, Sarva Dharma is Sarva Karma. Karmani Parityajya, it's not Dharma at all. Okay? Yeah. So you haven't heard it, so please change your thinking. Sarva Dharma is Sarva Karma. Viyoga, separation, Samyoga, union. Vibhakta, separated, Bhakta, united. Yes. Oneness with Swarupa, oneness with one's Swarupa is the highest and true meaning of Bhakti. Yes. Prakriti in the form of Parinami Upadana Karanam. What is Parinami Upadana Karanam? The raw material which perishes, which changes, which has a beginning, which has an end. And then Vivarta Upadana Karanam, that which does not change. So Avyakta in the form of Maya is called Para Prakriti, and whenever Parat Para is used, yesterday in the Mundakopanishad also we said Parat Paraha. So Parat Paraha, when you say, that means the first Para is not Brahman. First Para is what? Maya Shakti. So Maya Shakti is there, and that Maya Shakti has to be overcome. How is Maya Shakti overcome? By gaining Atma Jnanam. You overcome Maya Shakti because the Avarna is no longer there. The covering is gone, and what remains is Vikshepa. Vikshepa Shakti does not cause problems. Why? Because it's Ishvara Srishti. Only Avarna, the covering of me from my own nature, causes problems. And so therefore this is the teaching here. That is unmanifest form. That is what the two things are. Okay, any other questions? Oh, you found the citation? Sabane vrikshe purusho nimagnah anisaya shotchati muhyamanah jushtam yada paschat anyamisham asya mahimanam iti vita shokah. Where is Shuddha Dharma? Shuddha Sattva is there. In the Bhashya it's there. Yeah. So, sa evam preta tiryang manushyadi. What? Conference on Dharma? Anything you want to share? No? Okay. So evam preta tiryang manushyadi yonishu ajavam javi bhavam apannah kadachit aneka janmasu shuddha dharma sanchita nimittatah. Shuddha dharma is shuddha karma here. Yeah. Punya. Shuddha dharma means punya. Dharma, karma sometimes are used simultaneously, together, synonymously. As we are Bhagavan would be a way to get conscious of it, to affirm I am Bhagavan instead of I am. How should one act in... Okay, that's a different question. Okay. You can do that. I suppose you can say I am Bhagavan. But you have to know what is the meaning of that Bhagavan. Otherwise you will get a hubris. And not only that, if you keep saying I am Bhagavan loudly, then everybody will slowly back away from you. They will slowly backtrack. Okay. So, we have to understand what is Bhagavan. Better to say I am Satchidanandam Brahma. So, I am, or you can say I am non-separate from Ishvara. That's better. So, that way the ego also remains in check. Then, how should one act in life to not objectify everything and then to be able to achieve self-conscious. Achieve self-conscious means?
We need to be conscious of ourselves and know that we are part of everything. We are not part, but we are.
Yeah. How should one act in life? Yeah. So the easiest way is whenever you see, this applies only when there is a dissonance between myself and Jagat, myself and other jivas. When there is harmony, this is a question that is moot. We don't need to ask this at all. But when there is a dissonance, when I don't agree with somebody, or I feel like somebody is not agreeing with me, then only this question arises. So in that case, you see, first you don't react, we don't react, and we see first what they are saying, and then what else do we see? We see that if it is annoying to me, why is it annoying to me? You look for the seeds of annoyance here. You don't say this person is an idiot. Why is this person saying this or doing this? That's the easy way out. This is what we did before coming to the 3 months course. So now we have to do something slightly different. So what do we say? We say, look, okay, this person is causing a strong reaction in me. Let me not say anything. Let me go within. Let me observe. Let me see what is it that I have to do. What is it that I have to do? What is it that I have to overcome? Etc. Let me see. And from that place, let me go forward. And then sometimes the trigger is very clear. This person reminds me of another person who was a thorn on my side, or whatever it is. And then sometimes the triggers are not clear. Nonetheless, the seeds are over here. So what I have to do is to see that person behaved in a certain way because of his or her background. I too have my own background. And so when I don't need to know the other person's background. If I just say that this person has a background, that's enough. That's all. This person has a background. Because of the background, they are behaving a certain way. Nobody wants to lie. Really speaking, nobody wants to tell a lie. They tell a lie out of fear and helplessness. Nobody wants to take away your money. Why do they take away your money? Because a sense of insecurity and adharma. So this is how we have to reason. Doesn't mean that we are excusing their behavior, we are explaining their behavior. There is a big difference. Doesn't mean you are excusing the behavior, you are explaining the behavior, then you are objective, then you are able to see the behavior dispassionately, and from that standpoint you can decide what I need to say, what I need to do. Wrong idea to say things when one is angry. When you are angry, just leave the room, leave the situation, don't talk. Because otherwise what will happen? You will end up saying things that one regrets. So this is how to be more self-aware, more mindful all the time. Anything else? Yes?
So Krishna tells Arjuna that his duty is to fight. But if he were not to tell Arjuna to fight, perhaps Arjuna feels that the feeling of compassion that he has for the Kauravas, that this is the voice of Bhagavad, and that we should heed that, and that being compassionate is his duty. So, facing all the choices that we have in life, how do we know what is our duty?
Arjuna is told to fight. If Arjuna was not told to fight, perhaps he would have become a pacifist because of his compassion. And this argument we addressed in the beginning, and what did we say is that we know Arjuna. 12 years he was keeping the powder dry, so to speak. He and his whole family were very, very bloodthirsty. It was only after seeing who he had to fight against, when that reality dawned on him because Lord Krishna pushed the chariot to where all the elders were standing. That's when he lost the nerve to fight. So it's not that he suddenly became a pacifist, he lost his nerve because he was in the dharma sankata. He was in a difficult situation. So then if one is in a difficult situation like that, how to know what is my own ragadvesha, what is it that I want to do and what is it that is correct? The Taittiriya Upanishad says, consult somebody who is a role model in society. Do as they say, do as they do. And there might be many people who are role models, who are dharmic, who are upright, and who are dispassionate, and who will give you the correct advice. This is the time to seek advice from Guru, from other elders. And then otherwise, if you are in a pinch and you don't even have the time to text an elder, what you can do is put yes and no on 2 chits of paper and fold them identically, no peeking, no cheating, nicely shuffle it, put your question and put it on an altar, meditate, pick up one, but then you have to do as it says. Then you don't say, okay, best of 3, okay, I still didn't get what I want, best of 5. No, don't drag it, because if you have to get best of 3, best of 5, that means you already know what you want to do. You don't need spiritual advice. But this always helps. Always helps. Sometimes 3-month course students are also chosen through this method. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari